until such time as they may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, first of all, let me rise in opposition to this restrictive rule, yet another restrictive rule. A lot of good amendments were not made in order, and members do not have the right to offer amendments as they see fit during this debate. So I would urge my colleagues to vote no on the rule for that reason. Madam Speaker, another weak and another hot-button social issue is being brought to the floor by this extreme Republican leadership. A few weeks ago, this House debated an abortion bill. That's months after we considered legislation to defund Planned Parenthood. This Republican leadership has tried hard to overturn the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act simply because their corporate constituency demands it. And now we're turning to guns. We're about to debate legislation that makes it easier to carry concealed weapons in the United States. In fact, we're considering a bill that will make it easier for convicted felons. Yet, what do Americans want most of all right now? Are they screaming about for a lengthy debate on abortion issues? Do they want us debating whether or not we need to reaffirm our national motto? Are they clamoring for more lenient gun laws? No, Madam Speaker. The American people want jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs. But my Republican friends are either too stubborn to listen or just don't care enough to do something about the problem. Maybe they're just covering their eyes and plugging their ears, hoping that this crisis will magically disappear. That may work for a 6-year-old who's scared of ghosts, but that's not how you govern a country. Our unemployment rate is 9%. There are just under 14 million unemployed Americans. Millions more are earning less now than they were before the economic crisis, simply because they were forced with a choice to take a lower-paying job or face unemployment. And what's the Republican response to this problem? Not a jobs bill. In fact, the Republicans haven't brought up a jobs bill once in this Congress. So what then is their response to the jobs problem? Surprise, surprise, it's a gun bill. Madam Speaker, what are we doing here? This is nuts. This isn't what the American people sent us here to do. The irony is many of the new Republicans who were allegedly sent here because of their opposition to federal encroachment on states' rights, but here we are debating a bill that imposes the federal role on states and undermines states' laws. This is crazy in normal times, Madam Speaker. It's even crazier today. And unlike the resolution reaffirming our national motto that we debated a few weeks ago, this legislation will have real impacts on people's lives. Madam Speaker, people will be hurt because of this legislation. People, in fact, may die because of this bill. Don't take my word for it. Look at the facts. The bill obliterates state and local eligibility rules for concealed weapons. It eliminates the state's discretion to honor another state's permits. It requires states with responsible restrictions, like my home state of Massachusetts, to allow people with permits from states with lax laws to bring concealed weapons into those states. Simply, it allows a person to bring a hidden loaded gun into a state where, under today's laws, they are currently ineligible to carry a concealed weapon. Now, there are reasons that states don't allow certain people to carry concealed weapons, and each state is different. My home state of Massachusetts doesn't issue concealed weapons permits to people who have specific dangerous misdemeanor criminal convictions or alcohol abuse problems, as well as people who have not completed firearm safety training, people who do not have a good character, or those who are under the age of 21. And I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record, following my remarks, a letter from the Massachusetts Secretary of Public Safety and Security in opposition to this bill. But under this bill, a person who is convicted of spousal abuse in one state could go to a second state for a concealed weapon permit. When they get that permit, this bill allows that felon to bring their weapon into Massachusetts, even though they would not be eligible for a concealed weapon permit under current Massachusetts laws. Now, my friends on the other side of the aisle will say that this bill is necessary, that more guns mean less crime, that people need to be able to protect themselves. Well, that's not how our nation's mayors see it. Mayors against illegal guns strongly opposes this bill because it makes our cities less, not more, less safe. Mayors Against Illegal Guns, founded by Boston Mayor Tom Menino and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, is made up of over 600 mayors of all political stripes, united to respect the rights of law-abiding gun owners while keeping guns out of the hands of criminals and other dangerous people. And I'm especially grateful for the national leadership of Mayor Tom Menino, who has long been a champion on this issue. Not only do more than 600 mayors in this coalition oppose this bill, so do the International Association of Chiefs of Police, Major Cities Chiefs Association, the Police Foundation, the National Latino Peace Officers Association, and the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. In fact, not only does the American Bar Association oppose this bill, so does the Association of Prosecuting Attorneys. And I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record, following my remarks, the statement by the mayors against illegal guns in opposition to H.R. 822. Madam Speaker, Massachusetts is fortunate to have a number of anti-gun violence leaders in the Commonwealth. In addition to Mayor Menino, we are home to Stop Handgun Violence, and specifically its founder, John Rosenthal. Gun safety laws work. They keep our citizens safe. In fact, Massachusetts has the most comprehensive and effective gun violence prevention laws and initiatives and the lowest firearm fatality rate per 100,000 population of any urban industrial state, and second lowest overall behind Hawaii. Every day, more than 150 Americans are shot, and 83 die from gun violence in the United States. A child under 20 years old dies from gun violence every 3 hours. 8 kids every single day. We could fill Fenway Park 3 times three times over with 110,000 kids under 20 years old killed by guns in the past 30 years. And there is still no national law requiring criminal background checks for all gun sales in the U.S. In fact, in 33 states, there is no background check requirement or even proof of ID for private gun sales. And today, we're going to make it easier. We're going to make it even easier for these people to carry concealed weapons. Massachusetts is the leader in gun violence prevention. We should be working to prevent gun violence, not encouraging it with legislation like this. Madam Speaker, federal preemption of Massachusetts law will only result in more innocent and largely preventable gun deaths in my home state. The same holds true for nearly every state in the Union. In fact, preempting state gun laws will make this entire country less safe, and I cannot and I will not support legislation that makes our neighborhoods and our cities and our states less safe. And Madam Speaker, let me conclude by saying, if we want to combat crime, if we want to make our neighborhoods safer, I would urge my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to join with us, and bring the President's jobs bill to the floor. Let's provide people with jobs and economic security. Let's revitalize our neighborhoods that are struggling now in poverty. That's what we should be doing, not debating a bill to make it easier to carry concealed weapons. I urge my colleagues to vote no on the rule and vote no on